Hi, my name's Emma, and I'm a huge book nerd.
You're my library, always open for business, but you never show it. You're just sitting with it, but I know the score, and you're killing it.
As you may have noticed, or may not have noticed, the bookshelf behind me is reorganized. I felt like reorganizing it, so now it's organized by genre, and no longer just kind of randomly, which is exciting, and I love it. Let me know if you want like an updated bookshelf tour. It hasn't been that long since I did my first one, so I might wait a little bit, but like let me know if you want to see an updated bookshelf tour. I know that this is very, very late, and for that I am sorry, but I am still going to share with you my June wrap-up video. I have nothing to preface this, so I'm just gonna hop right in. So the first book that I read in June, I put it in quotes for a reason, you'll see why, is Space Opera by Catherynne M. Valente, and I didn't actually finish this book. This book was sent to me by the publisher, which thank you very much, I really appreciate it. And based on the synopsis, I did really think I would like this book. This book is basically about a future in which an alien being arrives on Earth, but this alien kind of looks like a flamingo, sort of. And this being shows up on Earth because Earth has been kind of discovered, and they have to now compete in this music competition in order to prove their sentiency and be initiated into the galactic realm of sentient nations, basically. The fun part about it is that the aliens are kind of like, you humans are so uncivilized and awful, and the humans are like, what? No, like, we're very civilized. And the aliens are like, are you kidding me? And they like point out war and like all these reasons why humans are stupid, which is fun. I do like that a lot. But I read about 120 pages of this, and I just had to stop because I could not get into the writing. This is supposed to be a lot like Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, and I haven't actually read Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, so I can't speak to that. But the writing is kind of, I would venture to call it a little pretentious. I don't want to do that because I don't know if it's pretentious or if it's just too smart for me. Like it's one of the two, and I can't quite tell which. The sentences are, all of them are run-on sentences. They use a lot of really large words that's like, why use that word when you can use a simpler word? It feels like it's trying to be funny, the way the sentences kind of like take these side roads, and it's like, oh, we were going here, but like now we're gonna branch off in here and talk about this thing and then go back over here all within one sentence, and you're just like, why? Because of the way it's written, I couldn't like get into the story. It was one of those books where I was like sitting there and I was like, I've read 10 pages, I've read 15 pages, okay, 20-page mark. Like I wasn't getting immersed in the story, so I was having a really hard time sticking to it, which is a shame because I think the idea of this book's really cool. I've been talking about this book for 4 minutes. I'm gonna put this down now, but if the premise interests you and you don't think that the long sentences going everywhere would bother you, then I definitely think that this is a book worth checking out because it is so unique. It just really wasn't for me. Moving right along. The next book that I read in June, it's The Secret Life of Bees by Sue Monk Kidd. And I read this because I had just finished another book of hers that her and her daughter wrote together called Traveling with Pomegranates. Irrelevant. So this book is about, it's set in South Carolina in 1964, and it is about a little white girl who basically, she hates her dad, her mother's dead, because apparently she killed her mother. So that's heavy right off the bat. So her nanny, Rosaline, is a black woman in 1964 in the South, and she gets harassed by all these white men when she's on her way to vote, and she spits on their shoes, and so then she gets arrested. And then Lily's the little white girl, Lily decides she's gonna break them both out. She's gonna break herself out of her house with her father, she's gonna break Rosaline out of jail. So she does so, and they run away. And basically they go to try to find this picture that used to belong to her mother. It's an image of a black Madonna. And they follow that image to find the location where the rest of the story takes place. I really don't want to give away too much, and I'm not good at giving synopsises in this way. But this book was really, really good. I really liked it. I gave it 4 stars, and the reason being, I thought it was a wonderful book, and I was totally immersed, and I loved it, and I cried a little bit. But it definitely had that, like, white savior thing going on, especially because it felt like the character of Rosaleen didn't get the credit that she deserved. She is clearly a strong woman who understands the weight of race in her world, yet she lets Lily speak for her all the time, and she always stays quiet when, like, Lily's spinning all these lies. I don't like the way the book portrays her. I'm not a fan. I think that she's almost an unnecessary character. Because if Rosaleen weren't a character at all, then all Lily would be doing would be running away, and then it would actually be 3 black women saving Lily rather than Lily saving this one black woman, which really bothered me because it served no other point to the story rather than to have this white savior thing happening. And I was like, why do we need that? I don't understand what that is adding to the rest of the story. So I kind of wish that that character had just been left out. I'm really curious to hear more people's thoughts on that because, of course, it's a complicated topic and I would like a little more conversation about it. So if you have thoughts on that, please comment down below. I'd be happy to chat. Next, I read an arc of a children's book on my phone called Sewing the Rainbow, which is about Gilbert Baker, the man who invented the gay pride flag. It's nothing remarkable. I think that the topic is cool and important for kids to learn about, but I mean, it was nothing really special. I would give it 3.5 stars, I think. It was just kind of, and I wasn't like in love with the illustrations, so there we have it. The next book that I read was my play for the month, which was Arcadia by Tom Stoppard, and this play was really amazing. It's about very intelligent women who don't get the credit that's due to them, of course, and it's a very, very, very smart play. Basically, it is about math. It's set in 2 separate time periods, so one is in the 1800s and one is in the 1900s. It's basically about a math prodigy in the 1800s and then a mathematician in the 1900s. And I don't really know what else to tell you about the plot, but it's really, really good. It's really great. Very smart. I gave it 5 stars, I think. Yes, I did. The next book that I read is Lincoln in the Bardo by George Saunders, and this book has been recommended to me a lot lately. A lot of people have been very excited about it. It is essentially about Abraham Lincoln's son, Willie, who died of pneumonia, I think, tuberculosis, pneumonia. Anyways, so Willie has passed away, and now he's in this graveyard with all of these other spirits who are in this kind of in-between world called the Bardo. It never actually says it's the Bardo in the book, but like a Bardo is a sort of purgatory, an in-between world. And so all of these spirits are there, and then Abraham Lincoln comes back and visits the grave of his son. And it's really heart-wrenching. It's really creative. I've never read anything like this before. So if this premise interests you, I highly recommend picking it up. It's also written in a really interesting way. It's almost written like a play. Like there's dialogue. The whole thing is sort of written in this dialogue. All of the ghosts kind of speak the story, which is really interesting. I've heard that the audiobook is amazing. I didn't listen to the audiobook, but I did really like this. I wasn't completely in love with it. I don't know what it was. It just didn't strike that perfect chord with me to get it a 5 stars, but I did give it a 4 stars, and it is a really, really great book. So I recommend it if this is interesting to you. And finally, the final book that I read in June is Eat, Pray, Love by Elizabeth Gilbert, and I took this book to Italy with me. I actually took Lincoln in the Bardo to Italy with me too, but I took this book with me because the first part of it takes place in Italy, and it's like about traveling, so I was like, what better book to take with me on this trip? So I started reading it. It's broken into 3 sections, Eat, Pray, and Love. The first section takes place in Italy, the second section takes place in India, and the third section takes place on the Indonesian island of Bali. I loved the first section. I was really into the first section, maybe because I was in Italy, maybe because I like food, whatever, I don't know. But the first section was really good, and then the second and third sections got really know-it-all-y, you know? Like, it just felt like she was like, I have all of spirituality figured out and I don't have any questions anymore. And I was like, really, girl? You've been on this spiritual journey for what, like a year, and you have everything figured out? So basically, I thought this just got kind of pretentious, and then I was kind of over it. But the first section was really great. So there's that. Overall, I would give this book a 3 stars. And those are all the books that I read in June. Yay! 6 books counting the children's book. So if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe so you can come back for more. And if you read any of the books that I talked about today, please comment down below and let me know what you thought, because I'd love to chat with you about it. And thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate your presence here. I will see you in the next video. Bye! Mwah.